Spiritus in Veritate, welcome to FortiKast, the official online show of Parrot Northfield's official school publication, Fortibus, FortiKast Online Show. Join us every Friday as we explore different issues, discover the truth, and share good vibes in our coming episodes. Today's episode, we ask, can young people create successful startups or businesses? Please welcome your hosts, Lucas Bonifacio, Lance Valencia, Mr. Linus Calderon, Mr. Brent Scassi, and our guest co-host, Lorenzo Villa. Ayan! Magandang hapon sa
Hey!
ating lahat. Good morning, good afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Welcome to FortiKast. I'm your host, Lucas Bonifacio, and with me, as always, are Lance Valencia. Say hi, Lance.
Afternoon. Hello.
Linus Calderon and Sir Brent Scassi. Hey, guys.
Hello!
Hello.
So,
Friday, everyone.
ito again. Hi, sirs. Sorry, hindi pwedeng. Respeto. We're still in working hours. Sorry. Apologies for that. And of course, Renzo Villa. Hello, Renzo. Good afternoon.
Hello,
Thank you for joining us.
thank you, and hello to everyone out there watching.
Yes.
All right. So guys, maraming salamat sa mga nanonood at patuloy na sumaysabay sa aming napakagandang programa. Nax. Maraming salamat sa sasama sa ating ngayong araw na ito. It's a Friday. You know what it is. 4:15 p.m. It's about to be the weekend. So ito na naman tayo. Isa na namang linggo ang nakalipas. Muli, isa pang tanong. Sirs, and our dear miners out there. How was your week, guys? Kamusta? Any highlights of the week that you would like to share? I'll start first. Ako, off the bat, I wanted to share with you, I discovered a new artist. And his name is Anderson .Paak. Sobrang galing yung drummer, guys. Check out his Tiny Music Desk concert. Si Anderson .Paak. Ako, sobrang natuwa ako with that. So what about you, Renzo? Pero Renzo, pakilala ka naman. Share with us. Who are you? And welcome to as a guest co-host dito sa FortiKast. No?
Welcome.
Yes, thank you very
Welcome,
much.
Renzo.
So I am Renzo Villa. I am a grade 11 student here in Parrot Northfield. If you remember in the previous live streams, I was actually a guest featured in one of the previous episodes. I can't recall the title, but if you remembered, I was also a guest in one of those episodes.
Tama, online remote learning. And yes, your highlight of the week, Renzo.
To describe the highlight of the week, let's just say it's a bit tough. There's a lot of workload going on right now. That we have a lot of PTs to work on, but despite that, the PTs are actually not that bad. For example, in science, we have a PT where we have to address climate change. Communications, we have to create a podcast. So it's very interesting performance tasks that we are given. But our main goal really is to try and to end the school year with flying colors and to be able to get again, despite all that we are facing, especially during this online setting.
Maraming salamat. And tama, end this school year with flying colors. Sir Linus, Sir Burns, gagraduate ba kami? Oo o hindi? Abangan sa
Linus
susunod
muna.
na kabanata. Abangan sa susunod na kabanata. So, Lance, ikaw naman, ano yun, Sir Linus?
Depends on me.
Okay.
Tama. Tama siya dun.
Tama. So,
Taga-encode
Lance, ikaw
lang
naman.
kami ng grades. Kayo yung
How was
gagawa ng
your-
grades.
How was your week, Lance? Kamusta?
If you guys don't already know, well, yung nga siguro di nyo pa alam, but every term of Northfield, there's always a week called the PT week, and pretty much almost every term palagi may week na dun yung week na yon puro due PT. Kokat naman di PT para ko sigurado mga SA, mga workload, lahat doon due within that week. And if I remember correctly, it was last week doon yung doon nag-announce na may PTs. This week dito ngayon na yung due. So I'm just glad na tapos na. Yun lang talaga.
Amen. Amen. Salamat for that, Lance. So, Sir Linus, kayo naman po, highlight of the week, that you'd like to share with us today.
Si Linus muna.
Yes, well, it was our midterms week, so to say, last week, and we are computing your midterms grade this week. That's why Lance is correct. Submission deadlines are within this week, and also my second term in graduate school in UP has started this week. So that's the highlight of my week. So I'm a
Best of
student
luck.
again.
Best of luck, Sir Linus, no, with that. Best of
Yes.
luck. So, Sir Prince, kamusta naman kayo? How was your week?
Right. There are three things that I want to thank, this week for, and of course, thank our Lord for. Number one, no, natutuwa ako dun sa mga founders huddle natin sa Entrep class because I'm learning from you. Your struggles in thinking about the business, no, yung mga business ideas ninyo. And number two, nag-enjoy akong basahin at pakinggan yung mga PTs ninyo. Talagang matutuwa si Simon, no. For those who are watching, may PT yung grade 12 on entrepreneurship and business ethics. They have to help a particular guy called Simon to figure out his business idea. And the way you guys did the performance task was very interesting. And I'm also excited kasi in my own personal brand, Unboxing Catholicism, I have an ongoing promo giveaway and meron na mga around 4,000 entries doon. So I'm giving away free books and free online course. And syempre, Sir Linus, no, kakatapos lang ng ating Paref Northfield Open House. And we thank everyone who helped us promote that. And we're so excited to have more people joining us in the Paref Northfield family. So those are the highlights of my week, Lucas and everyone.
Maraming salamat, sir. And yes, grabe no, ang daming mga significant na nangyayari for the past 2 weeks. And last week, kaya naman tayo hindi nagkaroon ng FortiKast. Ang dami nakamiss eh. May mga nag-text sa akin, ba't wala kayong FortiKast? Paano pa yan? My Friday's ruined! De, joke lang naman. So, pero the reason naman kung bakit hindi kami nakapag-FortiKast as Friday is because we wanted to spend a great time with our father and son activity. No? Sobrang exciting no father and son activity na yun. But, alright, so enough about our week to our dear friends. Maraming salamat for joining us today, our dear viewers. If you guys can share your weekly updates or your highlights of the week, we'll make sure to greet you guys. So let's greet a couple of people here. Sabi ni Jose Maria Nico Tobias, hello! Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Mr. Toralba greets us this afternoon. Hi,
Toralba.
Sir Renji. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Ito, si Idol, our best friend, Wax Santos says hello. Good
Yun, no?
afternoon, Wax. Thank you so much for joining us. And si Gabe Amparo, maraming salamat. Thank you for joining us today. And sabi dito ni Francis Samarista, Sir Linus, flex daw. Sir
Hello,
Linus.
Francis. Long time no see.
Hi, Francis.
Alright. Okay, so that being said, Sir Burns, I'm very excited for this wonderful episode that we have today. So, bakit nga ba tinawag na Sandbox yung ating pangalan ng episode natin? Care to share, Sir Burns?
Right, no? So we're very excited, ladies and gentlemen, 40 viewers, to bring you this very special episode with a very special guest. If you're wondering ano yung meaning ng Sandbox, this came from our favorite Korean drama called Startup. No, mamaya let's ask our guest kung napanood na niya yung Startup. And in Startup, meron ditong isang place called the Sandbox. It's in Korea. Guys, itong Sandbox, very exciting nung place na to because this is where young people can learn how to start, sustain, and scale up their businesses, or ito natawag nating startup. So if you haven't watched Startup yet, you're missing a lot, no? So guys, please do watch that so that you will also be fired up to, imagine being a CEO of your own company. And that's what we're actually doing in our Entrep class, no? We're trying to help the students see the possibility of becoming business people even though at a young age. So yun yung Sandbox. So ang idea ng Sandbox is we provide an opportunity for students to launch their ideas and without fear so that mayroon tagasalo. There's a sandbox where you could fall, no, if you fail, and we are still here to mentor you, to guide you. So that's the idea of the Sandbox. And that's somehow what we're trying to do in our Entrep program in Paref Northfield.
Ang ganda naman nun, sir. Maraming salamat. Innovation, creativity. Dear friends, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but for the past few weeks, we've been inviting guests to ignite the spark or flame in you. First, we had guests who were content creators. Next naman, we had a guest who wants us to live, a fired up and powered up life. Alam kong mali.
Fired up life.
Ko na.
Yes, sir.
Fired up and powered up life. And today, we even have a great guest for all of you here to inspire us all in the field of entrepreneurship. So, allow me to introduce today's guest. Our guest today was a former senator and deputy minority leader for the Senate of the Philippines. He has chaired various Senate committees and has authored and sponsored several landmark laws, including the Philippine Competition Act, the Free Access to Internet in Public Spaces Act, and the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, which made college and all state universities free for millions of Filipino students. Our guest was also a founder and president of Micro Ventures Incorporated, a social enterprise that seeks to eliminate poverty through microfinance and new business development through its flagship Happy Noy program. without further ado, please welcome our wonderful and handsome guest for today, Mr. Bam Aquino.
Hello everyone. Magandang hapon. Good to see everyone. Lucas, Lance, Linus, Burns, and Renzo, and of course to all of our friends watching. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Ayan, maraming salamat po for joining us today, Senator Ron. But before we go to the meat of our discussion, any highlights of the week, just a short icebreaker, any highlights of the week that you would like to share with us? Kamusta naman po kayo, sir?
Shucks, highlights of the week. Well, this was a pretty busy week, no? Maraming meetings. Wala naman masyadong highlight, no? Baka ito na siguro yung highlight ko of the week, no? Talking to all of you.
Wow.
Here sa bahay, ano ba yung highlights? Well, one of my family members had to go through some tests, and we were so happy that it was medical tests, no? And it was negative. So we were praying very hard for that, and we were that I guess is the pinakamalaking highlight of the week namin, no? And I know many of us here, marami sa mga pamilya natin, you know, somebody has to get a swab test, somebody has to get this and that test, and kinakabahan tayong lahat. In our case, we were so relieved, so happy, so thankful to God that it turned out okay, no? So I guess yun yung pinaka-highlight. But in terms of fun, baka kayo na siguro, no? Mukhang
Wow.
fun group to, mukhang fun podcast
Ay,
to.
maraming salamat
Sa
po.
OBB
Yes,
pa lang
yes.
panalo na eh. I have to say,
Ay,
sino
salamat
kumuha
po.
ng opening ano nyo, credits
Si
niyo?
Victor po, he's not joining us today.
Opo,
But
yung
shout
editor
out
po
to Vic.
namin.
Maraming
Okay,
salamat.
was that
Yes.
inspired by 80s sitcoms? Was that
Yes
inspired
po,
by
yes.
80s
It was, yeah.
sitcoms?
It was,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, because parang bumalik ako sa youth ko. Bumalik ako sa childhood ko watching mga opening ng
Galing.
mga 80s. Yung mga nakatingin sa malayo, biglang titingin bigla sa camera ganyan, di ba? That is the kuhang-kuha ninyo, guys.
Maraming
Congratulations.
salamat
True.
po. Thank you po, sir. So, yun guys, shout out. Lance, ito na. Shout out to Batch 2021. We're doing great. So, that being said, dear friends, let's now begin our wonderful discussion for today. We now move on to the first part of today's show, In Focus. Ayan. So to the dear friends, to the dear Vorti viewers, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to our In Focus segment for today. So, Sir Bam, once again, welcome to FortiKast. So, again, just to remind everyone, no, In Focus is our main segment dito sa ating show na we sit down with our guest or with a group of a panel and discuss more on how we can live, better lives, how we can, be inspired to live fired up lives and anything and everything and whatnot. So, welcome to In Focus for the day, dear friends. So, allow me to start, today's discussion by asking you, Sir Bam, no. First question I'd like to ask you. So, maybe ask you, what is your business, and maybe ask your journey. So, here in Northfield Senior High School, we have offerings of marketing, of business. We have business classes here, and also, kumbaga, we're also on a journey to becoming future businessmen. So we'd love to ask you your journey, your hardships, your experiences to where you are now as a former senator and as a businessman. So,
Well,
here it is.
alam mo, I have multiple careers in my life. No, I'm in my 40s now. I'm 43, probably the same age as some of your parents, no. And nakaka-apat na career na ako eh. No, I spent time in media, no, way back in 2001. I was in government for the first time in the National Youth Commission. Also in the early 2000s, I set up a social enterprise, no, which was a long part of my life. And nabanggit mo yun kanina, Lucas, no, about Happy Noy. And when we started that, there were very few social enterprises in the Philippines. Now, of course, now laganap na siya. And then I joined politics. I ran in 2013 and I was a senator for a couple of years. And now I find myself helping a lot of startups, no? So, ano siya, it's a very varied, very long journey already. Pero yung pinaka, I guess you could say, yung common thread throughout all of those is that I've always wanted to be in public service. I've always wanted to be in public service, no? Inspired by some of my family members, by my parents. I've always wanted to help people. And along the way, especially after college, nakita ko that the best way to help people is actually through business. No, the best way to help people is to help themselves get out of poverty. No, if you want to help our countrymen, yung pinakamainam na paraan is really to enable them to to lift themselves out of poverty. And that's through better education, that's through jobs, that's through support for their businesses, no? Especially the smaller ones. Nakita ko yun eh. And that became like a common thread, no, throughout all of my careers, no? That with the right programs, the right support, the right education, and the right support system, many of our countrymen will be able to help themselves out of poverty. No, kung mabigyan mo ng tamang tulong. A lot of us are focused usually on charity work and dole outs, and that's okay kapag times of crisis or times of emergencies. But if you're really looking at development, no, not an immediate or urgent need that you're trying to help, but development over years, over decades, you really have to look at how do we help our countrymen get out of poverty sustainably. And yung isang nakita namin na paraan, no, one way to really do that is to support our SMEs, no? Support our micro, small, and medium enterprises, which is why I've always, for more than a decade already, I've been very supportive of our fellow Filipinos getting into business, getting them the right support, no? Importantly, no, getting them the right support for their business, and being able to unlock all of those obstacles that many of our countrymen face kung nagnenegosyo sila. And if they're able to do that, if they're able to get that support, more of their businesses can grow and more can be successful. That means more people will get jobs, more incomes for families. And what we've seen, and this is proven all over the world, kung matulungan mo yung MSME, income, wealth, and growth can be distributive. No, it can actually go to more places in our country. Yung naging problema kasi sa Pilipinas for a long time, and this is maybe 2010 to maybe about up to a year ago, our economy was doing very well. No, of course, pre-pandemic to, no, bago pa yung pandemic, medyo ibang occurrence rin yan. But our economy was doing very well. Pero yung kasaganaan na yon, yung growth na yon, hindi naman umaabot sa lahat ng Pilipino. No, it was concentrated growth. It was concentrated in the metro areas. It was concentrated in a few sectors. It was concentrated in a few families, no? Some of the families that own the bigger corporations. Hindi naman siya nafi-feel ng maraming Pilipino because hindi siya na-distribute, no? So we had growth, but it was not inclusive growth. And if you look at my time in the Senate, all of the laws that we were able to pass, or most of them, were trying to distribute that wealth. You know, getting people free education, being able to go to college and eventually get a good job allows them to have better incomes. Supporting our MSMEs, no, through the negosyo centers, which was one of my laws also, helps them grow their business such that maging distributive rin. They become part of a formal supply chain and they're able to distribute that wealth across more areas and more families. No? So that was the journey that I had, no? Going from running a business myself, becoming a policymaker, and now finding myself helping a lot of startups. It's very exciting. Hindi ko pa napapanood yung startup, by the way. Marami na nagkukwento sa akin. But, supporting startups, supporting young people, finding the most innovative ways to solve our problems is really inspiring and really exciting. And sabi ko nga, I don't think the best solutions are going to come from people my age or older. No, they're gonna come from you. Some of the best solutions are gonna come from you, and the path to be able to get those solutions to market or to spread those solutions and be able to affect more people needs to be cleared. No, kailangan mas maging madali yung paraan ninyo such that your solutions, your ideas will be able to get to market faster. And a lot of the programs that we support and we've supported through the years tries our best to get you guys that support, no, para mas maging madali rin yung journey ninyo.
Grabe, sobrang ganda ng answers, Sir Bam. Thank you so much for that. And I really can't help but remember the recent trends na support local. You know, many people advocate na support local businesses.
Definitely.
And I totally agree. And this is my call to the youth today. Sir Bam, I believe that the youth today are the most innovative sets of people. And I think we are on good hands because the youth today are very, very interested to know how to make this, our country better, how to make this world a better place. Nako, baka makapakanta ako ng Heal the World dito. So,
why not? Pero alam mo, ito guys, alam mo kasi entrepreneurs are natural problem solvers, no? Our politics has gotten very toxic, so a lot of times you're attacking the person talking and not what he's actually saying, 'di ba? it's gotten quite toxic. It's gotten very contentious, no? And I think that's just the nature of politics these days. But yung hinahanap ng Pilipino ngayon, hindi salita hindi debate. Ang hinahanap niya, solutions, no? And the best solutions, at least in our modern times, comes from entrepreneurs. Diba? You know, people wanted ways to use their spare vehicles para mas maging productive. And at the same time, there was a problem with public transportation. So nagkaroon ng Uber, nagkaroon ng Grab. Diba? Or for example, people with spare rooms, which wasn't earning anything for them, wanted to put it in the market and earn at the same time provided alternatives, naging Airbnb. Diba? You know, a lot of the solutions disrupted the economy. Na-disrupt siya, nagulo. Before, to be a successful business, you had to be in a mall or you had to have a brick and mortar store. Now you can sell from your home. And an internet connection and a nice light and a nice ring light and a nice, you know, alam mo, the ways, a lot of the problems that we've experienced over the past decades, marami dyan na solve today because of entrepreneurship, because of technology. So, I'm a firm supporter of startups because a lot of our problems, which alam naman natin, di naman yan bago, no? Marami sa mga problema natin, dekada-dekada na yan. Nung bata pa yung parents nyo at nung bata pa yung parents nila, so mga grandparents ninyo, yan na yung mga problema eh. But none of the solutions for so many years worked, no? So there's really a need to come up with better solutions. And the question is, one, who will come up with these great solutions? And Lucas is right. No, I think it will come from a lot of young people. Two, I think it will require a lot of technology. Kasi marami sa mga lumang problema natin can only be solved with new solutions, and that usually requires technology. And third, and ito naman yung role ng mga policymakers and role ng mga people in government, people in big business, we have to pave the way such that these solutions can actually go to market. Marami tayong startups, magagaling sila, but because they don't have the right support, their ideas fall by the wayside. And they don't become businesses. They don't graduate to become, you know, your Facebooks and your Vibers and your Ubers. They don't get to that level because walang support or because every step of the way, may mga problema or may mga obstacles. No? So one very clear thing that people in government can do or people in positions of authority could do is really try to unlock all of these obstacles, allow those ideas to really grow and get to market as best as they can, such that the solutions that they're trying to spread will have an easier time to also be able to spread to more areas and more people. No, so that's why I'm a fan of startups. I focused a lot of my work in the Senate supporting startups, SMEs. Microfinance, lahat to, no, is made to really unlock all of these difficulties for our SMEs.
Amazing. Maraming salamat, Sir Bam. And before we proceed to our wonderful discussion, let's greet some of our viewers dito. Maraming mga hi. So here, sabi ni Paolo Cusgayon, hi, Tito Bam, this is Pawi.
Happy birthday!
Yeah. Happy birthday, Paolo.
Your Tito Rez
Happy
texted
birthday.
me, Pawi. Sabi niya,
Happy birthday to our
greet you a
man.
happy birthday. Happy birthday, Pawi.
Ayan. All right. So, ito po si Jose Francisco Kawada says, good afternoon to all.
Yes!
Hello po. Yan.
Hello, Sir Cholo.
Hello po.
Yes.
Magandang hapon po.
Gandang
Yan, ito
hapon,
po,
sir.
sabi po ng aming isang napakagaling na kakasi, si Renzel Paulo Canovas. Hello, mga idol ko. Hello po.
Kasama
Hello
ba tayo
po
dyan?
sa inyo.
Sana kasama ako dyan.
Ako, kasama po kayo dun, Sir Ram.
Oo, kasama po
grabe.
talaga kayo.
Let's really dig right to it. So, Lance, can you share our next question?
Okay. Sir Bam, we know you more as a former senator of the Republic of the Philippines, but we're curious to know how you were like when you were our age. So, could you describe to us your student life? What extracurricular activities did you have? Kasi yun, we understand that you are in your 40s now, but we want to know that
Okay.
how you were like when you were our age.
You guys are grade 12, right? So, parang time ko, 4th year high school. Tama, di ba?
Yes,
Correct.
sir.
No? So, you're probably 17?
Mhm.
16, 17. Okay. Isa akong nerd. I am a nerd. I am proud to be one. Proud to be a nerd. When I was a young guy, I was very, very lucky to have been blessed with a great set of friends. who are still my friends until today. So they're, yung barkada ko are all good people. Now they're good husbands and good fathers and good businessmen, and you know they're good people. And I think the benefit of having those kinds of friends when I was at your age is that we didn't just have a lot of fun, but we also kept out of a lot of trouble, no, honestly. So my high school days, I remember, yung mga kalokohan namin and yung mga escapades namin. During that time, we would have a lot of trips to Baguio. Yun yung mga namin noon, mga pinupuntahan namin noon. Sasakyan namin yung Light Ace. Hindi na naabutan yung Light Ace. Light Ace nung kaibigan namin, pupunta kami Baguio. We watched a lot of movies. We were like movie buffs. We watched a lot of movies. We played a lot of basketball. Although I will admit, medyo bench warmer ako, but my barkada played a lot of basketball. So it was a lot of fun. I played a lot of video games, guys. No, I can see na naka-gaming chair si Lance today. So yes, I am a gamer through and through from the time I was in high school until today. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of good times. But extracurricular wise, I was actually in the Ateneo Catechetical Instruction League. So we would go twice a week to a public school and teach catechism. So that was my org in high school. In college, I would be in the student council, no? Like Lucas here, di ba? Tama, di ba? Correct, no? So I would be in the student council in college, and I enjoyed my time in the student council when I was in college because it gave me a lot of opportunities to go outside of the school. So, hindi lang sa mga girls' schools, guys, pero lahat ng schools na pupuntahan ko. Alam ko naman si Lucas sumama rin yan sa student council para makapunta sa mga girls' schools, di ba?
Hindi naman po, hindi naman po.
Hindi naman. Pero
Naku.
malaking incentive yun. But seriously, in high school, it was ACIL, no? So ano yun? It was a big commitment kasi twice a week after class, you'd go on the bus. Of course, Ateneo is in Quezon City, malapit sa Marikina. We'd go to Barangka Elementary School and teach catechism there. When I graduated from fourth year, I was already the chairman of ASIL, and it was a really great experience for me, no? So basically, all throughout my school life, kung may chance to go out of school or to get out, no, formally or through school activities, I would do that, no? Nung grade school, I would join mga math competitions, and that would also force me to go out and join competitions outside of the campus. Nung high school, it was catechism, and nung college, it was working in the student council. That would get me outside of school premises na hindi illegal, di ba? Na legal. And that was a lot of my time there. But honestly, it was a pretty regular high school life, no? Marami kaming crush, pero walang may crush sa amin. Mga ganyan, di ba? Normal lang. Normal na buhay, no? You guys are in all-boys school, di ba? All-boys kayo, no? So, I know how it feels, guys, di ba? Can't wait to get to college, di ba? Pero, it's a pretty regular, and I'm blessed with that. I'm blessed with a very regular, very wholesome high school life. And again, let me just mention this again, no? Yung friendships ninyo is really important. The barkada that you have now will likely be your friends when you're in your 40s. Even if maghiwa-hiwalay kayo ng college, no? A lot of my friends nag-Ateneo, yung iba nag-UP, I think dalawa lang, Ateneo tsaka UP yung karamihan. But we reconnected after. And then there was even a time in our lives na nag-abroad, no? Out of 16 guys, there were only 4 of us in the Philippines. And 12 were all over the world, not doing their best to improve their careers. But by the time I was in my late 30s, everybody was back in the Philippines. And believe it or not, once in a while, nagzo-zoom rin kami magkakaibigan. Especially pag my birthday. So if you're blessed with a good set of friends who will really, help you have a lot of fun, but at the same time, keep you out of trouble, malaking blessing yun mula kay Lord.
Yun. So maraming salamat po Sir Bam, and I'm sure that everyone watching here, the students watching here right now, are very inspired from your story. So your story so far. My key takeaways from that, for high school, you're gonna have a set of friends, and you really have to, how do I say, parang nurture those set of friends.
Relationships,
Oh,
yes.
kasi
True,
yun
true.
nga, napansin ko nga rin sir na well, pretty much I've been in Northfield for my whole life. So technically tong mga classmates ko, parang mga kapatid ko na po to, sir.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely kapag nasa college na ako, lalapit ako si Lucas, yung producer namin si Anton, si Atom, pati nga rin yung mga teachers ko sir, si Sir Cassie tsaka si Sir Lines yung dito po kanina. Kat kung teachers lang po sila, sobrang close ko po yan si yung teachers na yan. At eto rin, key takeaway, gamers lang malakas, tsaka nerds lang malakas.
Yan. Sabi nga kanina
Nerds rule, man.
Sabi dito eh.
It's our
sabi
time.
ni
It's our time.
Mix de la Cruz.
Absolutely,
yes,
sir.
nerds rise. Thank you so
Guys,
much
ayan,
for that.
diba?
Guys, if I can add something,
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Go lang.
You know, now is your time to explore. Diba? Explore different things. Have a podcast. Go into gaming. Learn how to make an app. Go into business. Mag-apprentice kayo sa parents ninyo. Mag-OJT kayo kung saan nyo gusto. Well, obviously, I'm talking about pag nag-normalize na yung mundo, no? But it's the time to explore. It's the time to explore because may pressure sa inyo to choose what you're gonna be for the rest of your life come college. You know what? Some of us may not know. Diba? But it's the time to explore, time to find out ano ba yung passion natin, saan ba talaga tayo. Joke nyo kanina si Sir Burns about calling, diba? But now is a good time to figure out ano ba yung calling ko, saan ba ako hinahanap ng mundo ni Lord, diba? Saan ba ako hinahanap? Saan ba ako, where can I do good? Where can I contribute? What am I good at, diba? This is the time to explore. So, don't be afraid to explore, guys.
Maraming salamat, Sir Ram. Ikaw naman, Renzo, your key takeaways, and maybe we can continue the ball rolling with our next question. Ikaw,
Yes,
what do you think of our discussion so far?
Yes. So we can proceed to the next question of the segment, no? So Sir Bam Aquino po, we just want to know why did you pursue the passage of the two laws, specifically Youth Entrepreneurship Act and Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act during your time as a chairman of the Senate Committee on Trade, Commerce and Entrepreneurship in the 16th Congress?
Yeah, so these are two of my favorite laws, no? Yung Youth Entrepreneurship Act, unfortunately, that's unimplemented. So maraming batas na napapasa pero hindi naman siya nai-implement. The Youth Entrepreneurship Act is one of those which is not yet fully implemented. DepEd has not been able to implement it. But what was it? Basically, it mandated that aspects of entrepreneurship should be included in the curriculum. You are implementing it actually, Sir Burns, by having a class on entrepreneurship. But if you go to our public schools, hindi pa talaga siya nai-implement. Now, the idea there was that there was a study that came out maybe 2012 regarding financial literacy and our standing in the world. And unfortunately, isa tayo sa pinakamababa pagdating sa financial literacy. Meaning, pagdating sa savings, pagdating sa pagpapaikot ng pera, pagdating sa paghahawak ng pera, no? Medyo mahina yung Pilipino. And in fact, if you know, a lot of young professionals, as soon as they graduate from college, my first job, my credit card, next thing you know, nakabaon na sa utang. Diba? Because hindi tayo financially literate, no? Hindi natin naiintindihan how these things work. No? So that was an attempt to ensure that financial literacy and the basics of entrepreneurship are in our curriculum. Unfortunately, hindi pa siya implemented fully, but some good schools have actually gone ahead and implemented it already. No? So thank you, no, to Pare for having an entrepreneurship course or putting focus on it, because you learn a lot from entrepreneurship. No, there are a lot of things to pick up, no, in life. Even if you don't go fully into business, marami kayong matututunan about yourselves and about your country and about the world because of entrepreneurship. Now, the next law, that's the Free College Act, if I'm not mistaken. No, I passed that when I was chairman of education, and that one goes back to unlocking obstacles. It goes back to unlocking obstacles because at the end of the day, we saw that a lot of young Filipinos, especially in our state universities, were dropping out because of the cost of education. About 25% of freshmen would graduate in fourth year college, SUCs natin, state universities and colleges. That meant that more than 50% or even higher number were dropping out. No, when we found out, or when we asked why were you dropping out, ang sagot was they couldn't carry the cost. And we felt that at that time, because of the standing of our economy, our budget, and the priority of education, or the yung tama lang na priority is education, I pushed for a law that got universal support at the time in the Senate. No, all parties supported it, walang kumontra, and we finally pushed to make college free in our state universities and colleges. That means that millions of Filipinos will have an easier time finishing. At least at the minimum, those who enter freshman year should have an easier time finishing college. Now, what does that mean? If I finish college, my opportunities for better paying jobs opens up. No? Kung di ako makapag-graduate, hanggang dito lang yung pwede kong kitain. Kung makagraduate ako, mas mataas na yung range na pwede kong kitain. Pangalawa, pangarap siya ng napakaraming pamilya na meron tayong mga graduate sa mga anak natin. No? That's a common dream of many Filipinos, and we felt that we were unlocking that dream, or allowing that to happen in an easier way. And up to today, it's being implemented. No, so millions of Filipinos, if I'm not mistaken, at this point, have actually benefited from free college in our state universities and colleges, and it was just another of those initiatives that we felt could really, unlock our potential. Kasi ang rami natin potential pero hirap na hirap talaga tayo to break free, no, from all of these obstacles. And it was one of those laws that we felt, if young people had this opportunity, especially those that couldn't afford it, if they had the opportunity to actually finish school easier because yung gastos is less, then you're actually supporting a whole generation to be able to get that better life that they want. No?
Amazing.
Alright,
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you again for your response.
Yeah. So, to our dear friends, we hope you guys are enjoying our conversation so far. So, allow me to patapos na tayo, guys. Napakaganda ng discussion natin. But I'm sure we'll have more time. Sir Bam will join us again soon, no? Dito sa FortiKast, right? So, allow me
Request
to...
si Brother Birds to extend ng konti. So sabi ko, no problem. We can extend a little bit. Yeah.
Sige po,
I think
thank
he
you
has a
for
question
that.
also.
Yeah, we'll bring in our teachers now. Baka you guys have more questions for our dear guests for today. Yeah, so Sir Brent,
Yes.
Sir Linus, go ahead po.
First of all, Bam, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for accepting my invitation. I was really just shooting for the stars, but here you are, and adding so much inspiration to our students. So thank you. We have been doing in our NCHEP class this parang simulation of a founder's huddle. In the US and in other countries, startup founders would geek out and get together to learn from one another, help solve each other's problems. In fact, I tried joining some of these foreign meetups before for entrepreneurs. I'm just wondering, do we have like an ecosystem here in the Philippines where entrepreneurs meet up together regularly and just geek out, help one another, and dream big for their businesses?
There are, no? Meron yan. And there are startup communities in Manila, Cebu, Davao, Iloilo, all over the Philippines, no? A lot of cities have like startup hubs. They're not formal startup hubs, but the startup community is very, very small, no? Kumbaga magkakakilala rin kayo and you try to help each other out, no? So I've been asked to speak in a lot of those parang startup hubs, and the local entrepreneurs or the entrepreneurs of that area do get together frequently, no, to talk about how to improve the sector. I was lucky to meet a lot of them because we were able to pass the startup law, the Philippine Startup Act, no, which provides support for startups. In the middle of implementation na siya. It was actually signed into law, wala na ako sa Senate, no. It was a few months after I had left already. So I've met a lot of them, and yes, there are hubs. Ang masasabi ko sigurong kulang sa Pilipinas is the investment side. Kasi sa Amerika or even sa Israel, like Israel is known, Berlin is known, and of course Silicon Valley is known for a place where with a good enough idea, you could actually secure funding.
May mga
No?
VCs.
VCs, angel investors, venture capitalists. They regularly hold competitions, showcases, pitch meetings, di ba? And yun yung yun yung thrill of I've got an idea, I need some funding to get this done, and I know
Right.
where to go to get that support. No, here it's still FNF. Alam niyo ba kung ano yung FNF, guys? Family and
Alert.
friends. It's still family and friends. Unfortunately, for our startups, family and friends pa rin yung tutulong sa'yo. The bank may not even support you kasi wala ka pang collateral. No? So that's another of the obstacles we're trying to unlock. Diba? How do we get to a point where our startups, just with an idea, a good enough idea and the right support system, can actually get the support to grow? We're not yet there, no? But the Startup Act, of course, the law was signed in 2019. So unfortunately, possibly stalled because of the pandemic, but there was supposed to be ₱1 billion fund that was there to support your startups, no, and great ideas. No? I don't
Wow.
know kung natuloy yon or nagamit yon o baka na-redirect towards pandemic-related expenses, possibly. But that was the goal, no, to get a glimpse of that support that young people or even older people like myself who have good ideas and the right support system could actually get their business to market faster.
Thank you, Sir Bam, for that very inspiring answer. At least we know na the Philippines is catching up. You know, with our neighbors, meron ng infrastructure. It's just a matter of implementation. Na-excite kami. So we're gonna support that definitely in PAREF, no, whatever form it will take, we'll see.
No, and you know, a lot of young people are getting into startups because of the tech side.
Yes.
A lot of young people, maybe some of your viewers now, hindi man sila formally trained in coding or in creating, apps or any of these technologies, but they do it on their own. No? They go on YouTube, they watch the videos, they learn it on their own. I've met some young entrepreneurs who, were still in college, but they had already put up businesses because of learning on their own how to do different kinds of coding, no? So that's an avenue for a lot of young people, no? How to code properly. A lot of the people there are a lot of groups in the Philippines who make video games. Unfortunately, nahihirapan sila to get to market, or if ever they get to market, they're bought out by another company and natatabunan yung work nila, no? But the skill is there. Eh. Nandun yung skill, nandun yung talent, nandun yung creativity natin. No? Coding is really cool because coding is a combination of art and science. No, when you learn how to code, of course you're using logic, you're using science, but at the same time the creativity comes out. No, so a lot of our startups,
Poetry.
exactly, a lot of our startups, yun yung ugat niya, no, learning how to code, learning how to utilize technologies, and of course our young people of different ages have already learned how to do that. No, so there's that whole world out there na pwede pa nating ma-explore, no?
Yes.
Thank you. Sir Linus?
Yes, I have a lot of takeaways from this episode. Thank you so much to our guest, Sir Bam Aquino. No? And I hope yung Youth Entrepreneurship Act, I hope, ma-implement ito. Kasi sabi ko nga sa mga estudyante ko, kung ako yung magka-craft ng curriculum, merong adulting subjects talaga, no? Adulting 101, how to open a bank, how to save,
Yes.
how to fix
Insurance,
your costs.
investment.
These are the subjects that you will apply, di ba? When you graduate, have to fix your car, di ba? Or how to start a small business. I hope DepEd really, what you call this, yung K-12, kasi dapat, di ba, yung last 2 years sa senior high school, dapat talagang focus yan eh. Kahit hindi mag-pursue ng college yung estudyante, dapat matuto siya na mag-business. And I hope this Youth Entrepreneurship Act will strengthen that commitment of our education sector to empower our youth to become young entrepreneur. And before I ask the last question, there are successful entrepreneurs like Jack Ma, like Colonel Sanders, who started at 62, diba? So we're not yet late, diba? We can have this novel
Diba?
idea and profit from it. Ako personally, I'm inspired from hearing all this advice from Sir Bam. So our last question would be, what's your message to young students and young at heart like us who wants to pursue startups and entrepreneurship?
Well, alam mo yung, I guess the simple message for this time in our country and this time in the world is really not to give up, no? The pandemic weighs heavily on all of us, no? Mental health is really frayed. Ako, I'm speaking for myself as well. I'm sure marami sa mga the teachers I know are having a difficult time now, no? More also the students. Everyone's having a difficult time. And the easiest thing is not to do anything, no? The easiest thing is just to not do anything. But wala hindi pwede no? Life has to move. We have to move, no? A lot of our countrymen are having a difficult time. Kailangan natin silang tulungan. Our country is lagging behind in a lot of different things. Kailangan gumalaw tayo. And I go back to why we're supporting our entrepreneurs and our startups, because at the end of the day, they're problem solvers. The best, most successful enterprises solve a problem. No? Whether it's a real need or a created need, they do solve problems. And the more na tinatangkilik sila, kasi yung problemang yon kailangan ma-address. Diba? So if there wasn't a need for affordable and quick hot meals, walang fast food industry, di ba? You know what I mean, di ba? So meaning, they're all there because they solve a problem. So if all of us were thinking of ways, how can we solve the problems around us? How can we solve the problems that firstly we experience, and then next is our neighbors experience, di ba? Yung mga kababayan natin, that kung di man natin nararamdaman, yung nararamdaman nila mga problema, how can we help solve their problems? And if you think about it in terms of maybe it can be a startup, maybe it can be a business, maybe it can be something sustainable, then I think we'll be closer to helping each other out. Yung isa pa kasing maganda sa entrepreneurship is it's very empowering. No, it's very empowering. Hindi ka lang humihingi ng tulong sa patron o sa mayor, sa senator, alam mo yon, or sa teacher, alam mo yon. You're not just getting spoon-fed the support or the help. You're actually doing it, no? You're figuring it out. You're doing it, and it's an empowering act of creation also, because you're creating something and you're looking for solutions, no? So definitely it can be exciting. It can be also heartbreaking sometimes. Pero sa totoo lang, for those of you who are looking to come out with solutions, no, I really applaud you, and I will support you, and your teachers are supporting you, because every time you look for these solutions, hopefully, we're one step closer towards the country that we want for ourselves and for our children. At least ako, my children ako. No? So please continue fighting on, continue coming up with these great ideas. Don't despair. There is a light at the end of the tunnel of this pandemic. No, hopefully by end of the year, nagkikita na tayo personally. Hopefully. You guys, you're the batch that will say we graduated during this crazy time in the world, no? I mean, para kayong yung batch na graduate noong 1986, no, nung nagka-EDSA revolution, di ba? And during that time kasi they were what do you call this? They were promoted, di ba? Kumbaga nag next year sila, even if they didn't finish school, and they can always say, oh, we were that batch in 1986, and you will be that batch now, no? But don't lose heart. In fact, the opposite sana, no? Gain more inspiration to do more, no, for yourselves and for our country. So yun lang. Thank you so much to everybody.
Ayan, maraming salamat, Sir Bam. To our 40 viewers joining us today, sana nag-enjoy kayo for our discussion. Sir Bam, is it alright if we can have room for at least one or two audience questions? Sure. I think we have a lot of burning questions here. So to our tech staff, if you guys can just show some comments or questions for Sir Bam. Pero habang naghahanap yung questions, Sir Bam, maraming salamat po for joining us here in FortiKast. Sana nag-enjoy po kayo today. And to our viewers, no, we hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm very, very powered up and inspired to pursue and continue my entrepreneurship class. So Sir Burns, papasa na ako sa subject mo. Humanda ka na. Yeah! Humanda ka na.
Papasa, lahat kayo. I'm so excited for you guys.
So, Renzo, if you can ask our next question.
Yes, thank you, Lucas. So this is a question from a person named Giovanni Paolo Del Fernando. And this person asks, Sir Bam, do you have any advice for young people our age who want to pursue SMEs?
Yeah, ang advice ko sa iyo, Nike, just do it. Just do it.
Wow.
Okay, simple lang.
Action
Why?
builds
Because
clarity.
yes, and nobody gets it right the first time.
Yes.
Okay, you have to do it and iterate and do it again and figure it out, and then you'll probably stumble upon something that can make money. No, um, especially I'm sure right now, naman, no, I don't think anyone is coming up with a huge investment right away. It's really just getting yourself in the habit, no, of thinking like an entrepreneur, trying to see what creates value, trying to deal with your friends who are your customers and your suppliers and all of this, no, trying to look for solutions. So just go for it. Don't be afraid to fail, because people won't get it right the first time, no, and eventually, as you're doing it more and more, you'll get better at it, and you'll stumble upon something that can really create value for you.
Ayan.
Thank you po, Sir Bam.
All right, so maybe we can have one last question. So our tech team, ayan. All right, here. Wow. Napakagandang tanong. Lance, care to share our audience question?
Okay, so okay, sorry, natatawa ako kasi classmate ko yan si Renzel. But Renzel asked, with the COVID pandemic bringing obstacles to young aspiring entrepreneurs, what types of businesses do you believe is worth venturing into, considering the issues of the limited resources we have? Or what types of businesses do you believe needs us young aspiring entrepreneurs during these trying times? Grabe naman tanong na yan. Grabe, Renzel.
Mahaba yung tanong, no? And it's a hard question. It's a good question, but it's a hard question. It's very difficult to say ano yung mga patok na negosyo. I'm always asked that, by the way, but it's very difficult to answer that kasi you don't want to force people or you know mislead people into certain industries or certain types of businesses. But let me just say this: the best businesses are those that solve your problems. Okay? So you start with, ano ba yung mga problema na araw-araw kong nararanasan? Ano ba yung mga problema na araw-araw nararanasan ng mga tao sa paligid ko? Which could extend to your classmates, your teachers, your household. What are the pain points that they have? What are the pain points in my community? So, yun pa lang, meron ng teaching moment yon, di ba, sa mga teachers natin, because you're forced to look at the difficulties of your own situation, the difficulties of our country. And then you say, okay, what solution can create value? Diba? And what solution will people be willing to pay for and do a repeat business, meaning may nasusolve ka talaga. No? So, for example, it could have been as simple as when we all started doing the online learning thing, and suddenly all of us needed microphones. Suddenly, all of us needed headsets. Suddenly, all of us needed, all of these things, no? One of you could have said, "Oh, sige, I will, aggregate all of the orders para yung 2,500 peso na mic set, we can buy it together as a group, and we'll buy it for 1,700. Oh, and I'll keep like 100 pesos per mic as my fee, no?" So you would have been able to aggregate, buy a lot of equipment that people need, do it cheaper, give it to people cheaper, at the same time earn on the side, no? So alam mo yon, you always have to be looking at ano ba yung mga negosyo na makaka-address sa mga problema natin. Now, as you grow older, the problems will also grow bigger. Soon you'll be thinking about food security. You'll be thinking about mobility, no? Traffic, mobility, housing, but it has to start somewhere. And the best place to start is where you are. Sabi nga nila, the best place to start is where you are, di ba? Kung nasaan ka. And talk among your friends. What is it that is difficult for you? Because it's also difficult for your friends, difficult for your community. And now, it's easier to be able to communicate that to more people, because you can communicate to all of the parif schools. You can communicate to all of the young people your age. No? So, maraming ways to be able to market these days at affordable rates. But I think the most important thing to think about is, what problem am I solving? What pain point am I addressing? No, because if you can find a solution to that, for sure, meron kang negosyo.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sir Bam. And I think,
Thank you.
in this world today, we need problem solvers, we need solutions. And ang napakaganda talaga ng discussion natin for today. So grabe, I think that's all the time we have. Susunod na po kasi ang akala mo naman may next show na no? Susunod na po ang no. So ayan, maraming salamat po to our 40 viewers. Thank you so much for joining us for this wonderful episode. Sir Bam, kami po ay nagagalak na kasama kayo dito. Palakpakan naman natin. Send your virtual round of applause, dear friends,
Thank
dear
you,
ladies
guys.
and gentlemen. And also to our guest co-host, Renz Villa. Thank you so much for joining us today. And our guest tech staff, Alfie Kaluwag. Thank you so much. All right. So that being said, dito na po nagtatapos ang ating FortiKast episode for today. Sana po nag-enjoy kayo. See you again next week. Allow me to conclude our episode for today. We thank you for joining us in today's episode. We hope you had a great time. You learned something new today. Virtus and Veritate, there is strength in virtue. See you in our next episodes. This has been the FortiKast online show. God bless. Stay safe. Fortuna Fawit Fortibus. Attack on Titan Season 4 currently ongoing. Shinzo Sasageo. Maraming salamat po. Sir Bam, once again, this has been FortiKast
Thank you, sir.
with Sir Bam Aquino. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much, dear friends. Have a happy weekend. God bless you all and see you all next week. Paalam! Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.